It's actually a really nice, mild evening here in Bristol, so I thought I'd go for a walk around the harbour. Let's go for a walk. So I'll start by going through this corridor right by the waterside. And really nice. Got loads of bars and cafes on the right hand side and restaurants. Can get a bit busy on a Friday evening though. We've got the Under the Stars bar and kitchen on the water. You'll also find under the shelter area Zaza Bazaar, or as much as you can eat. And we could go that way, but we're not going to, so we're going to go this way today. Don't know why we are. So in this area you have the aquarium to the right. I've never been in there. It's been open for years. I don't know why I've never been in there. I'm going to go in there one day. There's also this strange sculpture I've never actually seen before. I must have gone past it so many times. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I'm not entirely sure I want to know what it is. Moving on. So ahead is really curious. It's not actually open. It had suffered a fire last year, or end of sometime. So it's not open at the moment. But it's a really cool science centre, exploratory kind of place. It's really, really cool inside. It used to be based near Temple Meads when it was called the Exploratory. I feel like we're heading into a construction site. But that's where the main entrance normally is. As we come from here, there's the planetarium, or a big giant disco ball thingy. Again, it's another thing I have never actually been in, but it does look quite cool, so maybe one day. I realise I've actually moved away from the harbour. I'll go back there in a minute. Oh, that's cute, someone's learning to dance. That's not what I'm watching there. So this is the energy tree. It's basically a tree made out of solar panels. There used to be USB ports all around this base which were fed from the solar panels up there, but I don't see them anymore. Either that or I've gone blind. Either could be very possible. Yeah, can't see them anymore because they were sticking out quite clear. Anyway, I would spend too long looking at one thing. We have some sculptures of people, or statues. Maybe statues is a more appropriate word to use. There's a couple around here. I'm pretty sure they are actually meant to represent something, although what I actually do not know. Is either going to come out really? Also in the square, they do have a seagull and a screen. They can show films on it sometimes, and it's often used for kind of adverts, I guess you could say. You can actually walk in these fountains if you so wish to do so. Wouldn't recommend it at this time of year, but you can smell it during the summer. They have a really strong smell of chlorine around here. This is always cute. Little doggy paddling in the blue puddle. It looks like there used to be two of them, but the other one seems to have disappeared. Shame. We're now heading to the Lloyd's Amphitheatre. You may notice there's lots of filming trailer equipment stuff down here. This is actually becoming quite a regular sight. As productions for TV and film shows quite often use this as kind of a filming base. As you can see, there are some looks like floodlights being lifted off of that one. Let's see what we can see. Yeah, straight ahead, Bristol Television and Film Support Unit. Oh, there's the Balmoral's back as well over there. We'll see that in a minute. See, that's a catering bus, or the dining bus for Bristol Television and Film Services Limited. But this is the back of the amphitheatre. It's called Lloyd's Amphitheatre because it's sponsored by Lloyd's. Or donated to the city by Lloyd's. One or the other. You can see the Matthew over there And we'll have a better look at that in a minute. These Void scooters are a very common sight here in Bristol. They were introduced during the pandemic so that people could get around without using the bus. They're a menace on pavement sometimes, but they're really helpful when you see people. I can definitely see why they're such a good form of transport to get around quickly and easily, though I'm not sure they're actually that cheap. But they help people get around, and Bristol's bus transport system is probably not the best. Well, I come around the corner and that sun, I feel like we're in the golden hour, people. Now we'll come back here on the other side in a minute, well, at the end of this video. But I never noticed this boat, yacht, fancy pants thing has a helicopter on top of it. Can you see it? I have never seen a boat with a helicopter on top. I mean, it's not a very big helicopter, but it's a helicopter nonetheless. If you'd like a nice path to this, rather than just going by the buildings, it's more of a river view. Just come down this path here. It's actually really changeable. During the summer, this gets really green and lush around here. You can hardly see out that way. It seems like a little secret walk. This path is also how you get to the river taxi, which takes you from this side of the river, on this side, over to that side, which is kind of obvious really. I have to show you this sign. We've had don't drink and drive, now we have don't drink and dive. Now this place feels like it's expanded over the years. It used to just be just inside that area. Now it has this whole outside area. There's a fire pit. Very nice. This area looks a lot nicer these days. Loads of little small businesses down here. Used to feel a little bit abandoned. Not anymore. As we come along this path, we're coming towards probably one of the better views of the SS Great Britain. I say one of the better views because you can't really see it from the other side. It's kind of all hidden behind that building, so unless you actually pay the entry fee, you're not going to see anything. But one good thing about the SS Great Britain is you buy one ticket and it like gives you access to the SS Great Britain all year without having to pay again. Which is actually quite good value when you think about it, because they do quite a few different events. And if you're local, look out for the taster days, where they give you half the entry for a reduced fee. You can always upgrade to a full ticket if you want to. The further you get down the path, the quieter and calmer it tends to get. Down here during the summer months, can you see kind of like sailing clubs up in the water? I'll show you where they're based on the way back. You can like see little sailboats just floating across the harbour. It's very picturesque. I have to say, it must cost an absolute fortune to live here, because you are literally on the water. I mean, just imagine that. Nice at Weymouth, you come out your house and straight onto the beach. Here, come out of these picturesque houses, straight look out onto the water. But at the moment, this time of day, it's quite peaceful. I love this bridge. I nickname it the Wobbly Bridge. I'll see if I can show you why in better detail in a minute. So I'm not sure it came out very well on camera actually going across it, but look at it from this direction. It has a distinct curvature to it that makes it look a little bit wobbly. So we're arriving at the pump house, and here's where our decision comes. A decision, whatever. So to get to the suspension bridge, you have to go in that direction. But we're going to go this way, which is called the Harbourside walk. And we're about to enter a bridge, see that little slide there? A bridge that spins. Basically it spins so that the boats over there and from the side can get through. But it does cause a bit of a traffic pile up when it does spin. In that direction is Lee Woods as well, and also Ashton Court, which is a very nice place to go for walks. and we'll definitely be taking there at some point. So normally you turn off left at that point because that's where the harbour continues, but unfortunately that part of the path is closed. So we're going to follow the road around and rejoin it in a minute. So this is where we're rejoining the path. The last two sections were closed off. I reckon the fact there's police vans there might explain the reasoning behind that. That part of the walk is called Under Full Yard, over that way anyway. We are heading right past the Water Sports Centre. That's a bit good. Underwater search unit. Love coming this corner though. You can see all the pretty houses. It's very pretty right now. I'm glad part of it's open. See, there's the wobbly bridge. I always feel it's really weird when you come for a walk after work, because within about half an hour it doesn't feel even to work that day. It just feels like there's been a long gap. Work just feels like a distance away, and it's just Bristol, home of the sculptures that you can't really work out what they are. And these houses are so colourful. And what does this hand represent? And what exactly is it holding? Every time I come up to this point, it always amazes me how many boats there are. Just parked up in this little... I almost want to call it a boat park. Just taking a brief pause at this marina to show you Cabot Tower. You can just about see it in the distance. We'll take a wander up there one day because the views from it are spectacular and it's free. So also in this area there's a coffee club shop which sells your coffees obviously, and there's a bit of street art up there in the corner. Now coming out this path you should normally turn left, but we're going to show something a bit different, and instead I'm going to turn right. Just to give you a little bit of a clue as to why. This is the original Harbour building. It's not really the original, but it's one of the first buildings they used here. Kind of. But, so that was where a lot of the films came from at one point. And this building is where their current UK headquarters are. It's a purpose-built building, and it houses their short film creations and web creations. Their feature films are done in Aztec West. But this is their central Bristol location. Oh, another little homage. A little homage to the Gromit Unleashed trails. I love coming past this building every time I come up this way. I come past this building. So you usually see the lights on actually because they're normally closed. But look! Wouldn't that be a cool place to work? So back to our scheduled walk. We're going to turn back this way again. Obviously this time we're keeping Ardman on the right. And we're heading back towards the SS Great Britain, which is on the left. Yeah, not much you can really see in the old Ardman building there. It's busy. More Voy scooters. Now this left on the ground makes sense. We're actually near the SS Great Britain again. So you can see some chain and bits and pieces. I would say that makes more sense. I think there's an anchor around here as well. Yeah. But yeah, this is the main entrance to the SS Great Britain. Just there. And that's just where the ferry drops you off if you come across from that side. It's not very expensive, I'm rightly. And here is the anchor. See, some bits of sculptures and artworks make sense. That is one of them. So I have to say this boat, it is so cute. It has like a large duck collection. It's so cool. It's a duckula. It's awesome. There's a cool duck, there's a Santa duck, there's a soccer duck. Probably not zoomed in enough for you to see. There's an alphabet duck. And here's that super yacht, you want to call it, I guess, called Misconstruct or Misconduct. Oh, I missed it. That helicopter's just peeking out from there. It's huge. It looks interesting to stay, I'd say. Yeah, Misconduct, I was kind of right. They use these tracks to kind of ride steam rides between the M-Shed, which is down there, and back where we came from. Using that train, I believe, or something similar to it. Never done it. It looks quite cool, it's not expensive. And here is the Matthew. You can actually take trips, and fish and chip supper trips, and all kinds of trips down the River Avon on this thing. It can go up to where we've just been, but it can also go a bit further. It does take trips all the way down to Pill as well. So, looking something different to do. Definitely worthwhile trying. Though, those trips can get quite expensive. There's some quite reasonable ones, but there's a mixture of some quite reasonably priced ones to some more expensive ones, like the ones to Pill are more expensive, and the ones that involve fish and chips are obviously going to be slightly more expensive. They tend to be about 5 o'clock with fish and chip ones, so you know, gotta make it work around what times you can do. We're just wandering underneath one of the 3 cranes that are here outside of M-Shed, where they have a Wildlife Photographer of the Year gallery going on at the moment. Exhibitions probably. These cranes do actually work, and they are used by M-Shed when they kind of move exhibitions into and out of the museum. It's a free museum as well, for most of their exhibitions anyway. I suspect the photography ones is not free. I do wonder what that is. I saw a few photos of that the other week. I'm not entirely sure what it is. A light up wave maybe? Anyway, we're approaching Balmoral. This moves sometimes, so sometimes it's not really based here, but every now and again it's not. I just see it as a very large boat. So yeah, it quite literally is a wave. A light up with. It seems to have things inside it as well. And that brings our tour of Bristol Harbourside to an end. If you like this video and like some more, I'll let the IA recommend something here, and I'll see you there. Bye!